Dangerous weather will be possible at any given point over the next couple of weeks, and it's my job in this video to bring you the latest so that you can be up to date on all of the weather we're going to see across the US. Again, over the next couple of weeks, I think our weather will just get very active. It starts today and it will continue for a while. So we're going to go over all of that as well as a pattern discussion towards the end of the video. So stay tuned for that. We'll kind of explain what's going on here and why we're going to be seeing so much activity. So please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel. It would greatly help me out and I would greatly appreciate it. And of course, please leave a comment down below where you are watching from. I would love to know where you guys are watching from. It always amazes me to see how wide of an audience I really do have. So I would appreciate it if you did that. So to start off here, I will just show you a brief look at our current conditions. We do have the main show going on right now in areas of the kind of mid-Atlantic. Areas such as Virginia, Maryland, Delaware, and even southern New Jersey could have some snow falling. If you do live up in this area and you do, if you don't mind, please let me know what you're seeing because I do wonder how much of this is actually hitting the ground. This might be a little bit dry and light, but we'll see. Some freezing rain is showing up here, and it is raining as far south as the Charlotte area of North Carolina here. This will start to move up into the northeast. We'll discuss that in just a second. We do have some moisture out here over the central Rockies and even kind of a low pressure spinning around up here in South Dakota. Other than that, relatively quiet right now, and watches, warnings, and advisories reflect that pretty well. Starting out west and moving east, we do have small craft advisories out on a lot of the coastal areas. Very quiet though. A few higher elevation winter weather advisories in a few different locations of Oregon and Wyoming here. Red flag warnings still up for areas of New Mexico and Colorado here. It's just very dry and windy across this area. So I have to watch that. And then moving to the east, the more higher criteria stuff, in my opinion, here are these winter weather advisories and winter storm warnings up for areas of West Virginia right here. But these winter weather advisories extend all the way up to almost every county in Pennsylvania, New York, Massachusetts, and Connecticut. A lot of counties there. These might even expand even further up into Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine as we move through time. So we'll have to see how that goes. Otherwise, again, pretty quiet. So I do want to take a few minutes here. I think this is really important. So if you could stay here during this part, we need to discuss our severe potential. I think that's going to be our main thing that we have to talk about over the next couple of weeks. So we're going to start this off right now for today's outlook. So this is what we got going on. This is day one. This is today. There's 3 separate areas where we have to watch for general thunderstorms to occur. Nothing severe is anticipated, just out of the central Rockies, the kind of central U.S., kind of central and eastern plains, and then an area down in southern Florida. But it starts tomorrow with the higher criteria stuff. Here we have a level 1 out of 5 risk for tomorrow, or Tuesday, from areas of Texas up into Oklahoma City area, just kind of the central and western areas of Oklahoma, and then up into Kansas. We have to watch that closely. And there's a general area of thunderstorms that obviously surrounds that. And then moving to day 3, this is one of the big topics of conversation. This has been around since day 6, I will mention. And we've gotten to where now it's a day 3 outlook, so they've maintained this yellow level 2 out of 5 slight risk for areas of southeast Oklahoma, western and central Arkansas, and the Dallas-Fort Worth area, even as far south as Waco, Texas here. So we need to watch this, the Arklatex here, for severe storms. And we can't break this down by type yet. As of tomorrow, we'll be able to do that. But we'll have to watch it very closely. This is a big topic of conversation. I have my doubts with this one. I'm going to be completely honest with you. We might be too capped, and I'll explain what that means later. Stick around for that. So we're going to have to switch products here, and we'll switch to day 4. So as of right now, we have a level 4 day 4, not level 4, day 4, level 2 out of 5 risk here for areas of Oklahoma and Texas, primarily central and northern Texas and into the panhandles of both Texas and Oklahoma. This is, again, level 2 out of 5. This is all we know. We know nothing else. This is just a 15% risk of seeing severe weather inside of that. This would almost undoubtedly be surrounded by a green level 1 out of 5 risk. It has to be. We'll just have to see where. So that's day 4. Here's day 5. This is a very, very large risk, by the way, and this is huge. This is for Thursday, Wednesday into Thursday here. We have a very large slight risk here. We'll have to watch and see how this moves and expands or shrinks. I do expect that we'll go enhanced with this. That's a level 3 out of 5. At somewhere in the middle. We'll just have to watch where. But we do have that. And then switching on to day 6, we have one for day 6 as well. down in northern and central areas of Texas, and all the way over to the Arklatex. Day 7 does not currently have a risk. That was a mouthful. There's a lot to cover there. There's a lot. Almost every day between now and the next 6 or 7 days has something to watch. So moving past that, I'm going to show you a few different things for this winter storm because it still is ongoing, and we'll move past it. So this is the HRRR model. Only thing I'm going to show you here, starting off about right now, areas you see in blue here are snow, pink is freezing rain, and this kind of orange color is sleet. So moving on now, as we work through the next couple of hours, the Appalachian Mountains, the Central Alps, and the higher elevations of the Mid-Atlantic could start to see more freezing rain. Nothing crazy is expected. Then areas of snow start to develop in Pennsylvania, up into New York here, and the kind of southern New England areas, just north of New York City on this run. And it does start to get more expansive and heavy. This is getting into tomorrow morning and the afternoon. So, and the sun, it's about time the sun's going down. Very heavy snow in the down east areas of Maine, just offshore. So, have to watch that. Freezing rain developing. Nothing too crazy with this, guys. Your accumulations won't be crazy. And that's what the National Weather Service is calling for. This right here from the Mid-Atlantic points north. So, this is from now onward, or an hour or two ago onward. So, some of this stuff in these areas is falling right now. But just a couple tenths of an inch of snow. And then ice-wise is what you're expecting. There are areas in here, guys, that I want to note could have enough ice to be dangerous. So stay tuned to your local sources. They'll have you covered more than I can in a video like this. And moving up the coast a bit for areas of the southern New England and northeast regions here, you can see obviously the most of the snow is in Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine, and areas of New York here. New York State, that is. So there is some sort of signal here. Ice also could be an issue, but really not for areas further north, just these kind of transition zones, as you would expect. So, moving past that, I'm going to set you guys up with a pattern here. I'm going to do my best to explain what's going on. This is not the in-depth pattern discussion. There's two of these, essentially. This is the first one. This is explaining what's going on. This is your foundation. So this is starting off right now, all right, tomorrow morning, pretty much. This is the upper levels at 500 millibars. This is 3 or 4 miles above your head, and this is the wind speed in that layer. So areas you see purple like this are stronger winds aloft. You can see it by the length of these arrows, the stronger the wind. So this is starting off now. Now, where did it go? Well, severe weather is driven by dips in the jet stream. I'm going to go ahead and run my drawing tool here so it can be going. You can see our jet stream is relegated way up here into Canada and the Northeast. It's not riding down areas further to the south like you would expect it to be. And that's why we flipped the switch so fast from winter to it feels so warm. So severe weather is driven by stuff like this. These kind of dips in the jet stream, more enhanced areas of flow aloft outside of the main jet. So where does it go? Let's move this on here. Well, there's a few to several of these. Here's another one right here. This is getting into March the 5th. So that's what drives that severe threat. Definitely notable there. Here's another one diving in here as we get into the 6th and the 7th. I mean, look at that. It's a very strong jet streak. That's worrisome to me that we could see something like this. The dynamics associated with this look dangerous. We'll look at moisture here in just a second. But that rolls in and it kind of expands more up to the northeast. Now, this is another feature I'm watching closely. Is this one down here over the Baja California regions. Where this trough, this area of low pressure, where it goes, whether it ejects off this way, kind of up here, or somewhere in the middle, will be very, very important. As this is the feature that spawns something that could be quite insane. So we'll also go over that with our model guidance. This is getting into the 7th, the 8th, and it just sits there over areas of Mexico and the Baja California regions. Then we get into the 10th and the 11th, and it ejects. This is a big look right here. You got your jet stream going all the way down there. Big area of low pressure. Strong area of low pressure. Rolling through these central areas of the country. So we move this on, and they kind of phase together, although the timing's a little bit weird with it. We're not quite sure. And this is getting into the 13th and the 14th. Here's another one. This could be getting severe weather going. A very expansive jet streak there. And take this out several more days here. Any of this flow, by the way, down here, if there's moisture involved, could have severe weather going. This is March the 16th. We're out there, guys. Way out in no man's land. And at the end of the run, we have another jet streak kind of relegated down here in Texas. So we'll have to watch it. But there's your pattern. For that, the severe part of this, that is. So let's look at moisture, just a broad look at moisture here. Well, areas you see in these darker greens and blues are higher dew points. And these, once you get into this blue color, that's 60 degrees dew points or higher. And that is adequate for severe weather, especially this time of year. But this is for the 3rd and the 4th. You see that moisture returning up to the north. The exact placement of this will be key in figuring out severe weather. I will mention that I will likely live stream some of these events if they really do turn out the way that they're expected to. As of right now, this is getting into the morning of the 4th. You can see there's some sort of boundary here, this kind of drier air meeting this moist air. So I have to watch that for storms to fire. And you can see that surges way up to the north. You get into the 6th, we have this huge area right here of dew points. I mean, this is a very broad warm sector, guys. It's all the way from central Oklahoma, kind of back through central Tennessee here. Very broad warm sector of these dew points spiking up into the 60s, even all the way up towards Chicago. That's not normal this time of year, guys. And we'll mention that. So we move on, and you can see that boundary. It kind of sweeps those out, but they recover. And then something happens. We get into the 10th and the 11th. See, these higher dew points surge all the way up to the Minneapolis area. But then you can see this boundary, this drier air sweeping them down, and it pushes all of these dew points out of the way. It might stick around for areas of the far southeast in Florida, but it sweeps those dew points out pretty significantly. And then we get towards the end of the run and it's starting to spike again. This could be a secondary time frame where we watch the southeast and the mid-Atlantic states for something to happen as we get towards the middle of the month. And that's the last of it. So there's your foundation. Now let's look at some actual model runs that can show us something here. So this is what we've got. This is the European model. And we're going to start this off tomorrow morning here. I'm sorry, not tomorrow morning. It's supposed to be tomorrow morning. I just didn't set it up right. Just starting off tomorrow morning, you see this system up here in the northeast is moving away. And then we get into between the 3rd and the 4th. There's some activity down here. So I have to watch this. Any of this orange and yellow that you see down here could be severe weather. And just notice how there's so much of it down in this area. It just sticks around. And there's surges of it, right? Here's one where we've got these storms firing up along some sort of boundary. The evening of the 6th, and this is getting to the 7th. There's another area of them, right? I'm kind of wondering that the European model hasn't been doing as much with this moisture recently. I don't know if that's quite right. I have to watch it though. And then we get into the 11th. And now there's a lot of discrepancy between models in this time frame. I'll take this frame right here, the morning of the 11th. On this run right here, you obviously have this expansive area of moisture falling right here. And you can see by these black lines back here, all of this is cold air, all of this back here. So because this is not falling as snow, it would lead me to believe that there is a boundary right in here between cold air and warm air, somewhere in there. Now, obviously, I did not mean to do that. Let's get this off your screen here. The European model, it does something with snow here. We move this on a few more frames. There's a big snowstorm on the back side of it and a very deep shot of cold air kind of diving in behind it. But it doesn't really connect those dots in the central plains, not as much. I'll have to watch that because I don't know if I buy that yet. And there have been plenty of model runs, guys, that showed something pretty crazy for the central and northern plains. But regardless, after that, and this is out towards the end of the run, it looks colder, right? You got these several little systems that kind of cut from west to east across the country that have more snow associated with it. It just looks like colder towards the end of this run. And I think that our pattern supports it. We'll go over that more in depth here soon. But there's just a lot. There's a lot of different little things to cover based on the Euro. Now, how about the GFS model? Let's show it to you as well. Get everything in frame here. So starting off right about now into tomorrow morning, that snow moves off. And then here's all this moisture down here. I think the GFS has a slightly better handle on this moisture as of now. It could change. This is the morning into the afternoon of the 5th. And there's activity down there in the Central Plains. And then we get into the 6th. Now, the GFS has been kind of hinting at this as well, where we have this expansive low pressure on the 6th, between the 6th and the 7th, and it kind of has a little bit of everything. It has severe weather down here. It has snow up here, even some freezing rain mixing in. So have to watch that. GFS has been kind of hinting at this for a little while. So I have to watch that. Now, we move this on in time. You can see all of this green and orange stays around down here in areas of the deep south. And then we get into the 10th and the 11th. Now, it's very busy on this run of the GFS. A lot going on here. The run before it, see how there have been runs showing stuff like this right here. So this is the latest one. It doesn't connect those dots. It's kind of similar, but it does get snow going. Don't get me wrong. It does get it going, just in a different place. And then you see more snow showing up behind it because this air is just colder. It's just simply how it is. Then you have another surge of moisture. This is the 15th, and this is the 16th. Again, this is what I'm talking about. Between the 15th and the 18th or so, we could have more severe weather potential in the kind of the southeast and the mid-Atlantic areas here. But I mean, right at the end of the run, it's the GFS model's dropping snow as far south as the Texas Panhandle. Again, it's March. I'm not sure if I buy that, but I do think we're going to have some sort of pattern change towards the end, or the middle of the month. Maybe it'll go to the end. Hard to tell. So I also am going to show you in this frame right here some of our severe potential. This is starting off. This is the RRFSA model, one of our higher resolution, longer range models here. And this is for tomorrow. This is tomorrow's outlook. So we take this on a few frames here. Now, not a lot happens, obviously. It really gets some storms going overnight, tomorrow night, and into Wednesday morning. So I have to watch those. But then we switch this to day 3. Does anything happen down in this area? Let's watch it here. The storms stick around, and we start to get towards the afternoon. Some activity fires. You can see it. But is there going to be any in this yellow? Maybe. RRFSA doesn't say yes. It kind of says maybe. There's some storms in areas of it, but it does not fire anything notable up in that area. Now, this is what I'm talking about. We get out to the 5th, and we have something here. There's an isolated storm down here south of Lubbock. Not a forecast, just an idea. And there's a complex of storms rolling up into Kansas here. And we don't have any more frames after that. So something to watch for sure. I'm curious here as to exactly what's going to happen. Now, the reason I say, are we going to have storms? The reason I'm not calling for these storms like the National Weather Services and Storm Prediction Center is. Well, take this frame right here. It's just after the sun's gone down. And you see how there's not a whole lot going on. Well, I'm wondering here, there's a few different things that could cause this. This region in here is what we call the EML source region. EML stands for elevated mixed layer. I'm not going to pull soundings and overcomplicate things, but this area right here is typically warm and dry. Typically. Obviously, there are exceptions to that, but typically that's the overarching theme in this area right here is that it's warm and dry. So our flow in the mid-levels will be kind of sweeping across this area, right? Well, if you have too much warm and dry air aloft just above the surface, it can hinder storms. So I'm wondering if that's what we have going on here. Just an idea, just a thought. But the fact that nothing really fires in that slight risk area is a little bit odd to me. And I think that the pattern itself could even explain it. So I just want to watch for that to happen. And I mean, this is obviously one run. Things will change. I expect things to change. But it does show some higher resolution looks at these storms here. So, moving past that here, what do we have next? Our AI model guidance. Well, we use this for pattern recognition because AI is typically pretty good at it sometimes. So let's give it a shot here. This is starting off tomorrow morning, the European AI. Well, that moisture, that frozen precipitation gets up into the northeast and it moves itself out. Now, here's what I'm talking about. Back this up a few frames to the 4th or so. So this is the afternoon of the 4th. Our AI model guidance right here, it agrees with the Storm Prediction Center. There's a lot more moisture. This is obviously a really coarse, smoothed out look. You don't see those individual reds and yellows and all that, but it shows a lot of moisture. So that's supportive there. And then we get into the 5th and the 6th. There's just a lot of moisture riding around in this area. This is overnight on the 6th into the 7th. And this agrees with the GFS. We kind of have some sort of low pressure forming right in here, and it's got severe storms likely to the south, and it's got an area of snow and frozen precipitation off to its north. So something to watch with that, the 6th and 7th time frame there. Then this drops to the south, getting into the 8th. So I have to watch that. And then towards the end here, you can see something happens. We kind of get a phasing of energy. Big expansive trough diving down from Canada here. And you have a big area of frozen precipitation as well as severe storms on the south side getting into the 11th and 12th. So our AI model guidance agrees that there'll be something, but like in this frame right here, we have potential that this will be filled in with snow. Some models have kind of dropped off that moisture a little bit. So I just want to watch it. So that shows something. It even, I mean, for example, it gets this kind of band of green all the way to the southeast. That could be severe storms. Absolutely. So what about the GFS AI model? Well, it shows that moisture frozen for the northeast and leaves. Then we have this band here overnight on the 4th, so it lines up. Now, it's what kind of similar to the RRFSA. In Kansas and Nebraska, we kind of have this on the 5th here, we kind of have this quick hitting area of moisture. Could be severe storms. And then any of these darker areas of green down here, I mean, this is getting into the afternoon of the 7th, and we have stuff going on down there. Now, what happens with our longer range look here? Well, we get this big line of storms to develop. This is the morning of the 11th. There's snow developing on the backside, and it does develop something. Again, the timing and the orientation of this is a little bit weird. We have this trough dig over here. It'll be different. If it digs kind of over there, it'll look different. So who knows? Hard to tell, especially at 228 hours away. But just a general idea, and it moves out. This is the last frame we have. So I'm going to show you guys kind of our pattern here, if you will, and just kind of try to explain what we're seeing and why some of these storm systems seem to happen. This is starting off tomorrow, and the product you're looking at here is the 500 millibar geopotential height anomalies based on the European ensemble. So you can see areas of red like this, that's just a ridge. And you can see how these lines kind of go like this ever so slightly. It's because there's a ridge there. Now, if you see these blues up here, that's a little bit harder to tell. That's a trough of lower pressure that brings cooler air. But we're starting this off tomorrow. Do you see how there's like an area of neutral values here and a slight dip? Well, watch that. It doesn't amplify a lot, but this is the afternoon of the 4th. And we kind of have this subtle shortwave trough right here rolling through these areas. And this is what gets storms going on a very broad scale here. But we move that on. Now, do you see this blob of blue dropping down? This is the 5th into the 6th. It kind of spreads out and drops down to the Baja California regions, getting into the 6th and the 7th, and it sits there, amplifies. And then we get into the 10th and the 11th. It kind of loses some steam, but it phases with the main energy. This is the morning and afternoon of the 11th when we were watching that. So the reason that we could have snow is because all of this right in here is cooler air. Obviously, it's bordered by this, which is warmer air, which is why we have a little bit of everything. If we have a low pressure right here, you could have snow down there, and you could have a line of storms out in front of it. Hard to tell, but there could be something. And I think weather is all about potential, not the actual given this is what's going to happen. It's that we have potential to see this, and that's why it's important that we cover it. But again, 222 hours out. It's out there in no man's land still. We just had a lot of consistency. Either the 15th, 16th, not really anything specifically to speak of. And at the end of this frame here, what this tells me, you can follow these black lines, they kind of dip down like this, is that for a lot of areas of the country, this could still be relatively warm, but there'll be a battleground in these areas right here between warmer and colder than average temperatures. So speaking of temperatures, let's look at these. I had all of these in perfect order, and they seem to have moved themselves when I updated the page. So we'll have to see if it does that again. But anyways, starting off tomorrow morning, and areas you see in red are above average, areas of blue are below. And you'll see as we get, there's just a lot of red on this map, just a lot of it. And some of these values are like this right here for areas of the kind of Midwest. This is well above average. We're talking about like 20 to 30 degrees above average. That could put you guys in the 70s, maybe even higher, the 80s in some regions. I mean, that really, really hot. But we get right here. This is the morning of the 7th when we have that lower pressure dropping down. And you see right here, there's an area of cold air. Is it freezing cold? No. Is it like, getting down into the single digits everywhere? No. But it's colder and it's bordered by warm. So that means you can kind of watch for something to go boom in this area. And on the 7th, a lot of models indicate there would be something that goes boom on this area. So I have to watch that. Now, we get out towards the 10th and the 11th. Then the big show happens. This is the afternoon of the 11th. And my oh my. I mean, look at this big area of blue here. This is colder air. This could be pretty sudden for a lot of areas. You kind of warmer than average. And as soon as this cold air crosses a certain line, it's cold. But it's bordered by well above average. Look at the Northeast here. You guys might finally get a taste of warm for once. And this is why we have a little bit of everything on the 11th on a lot of model runs. So I have to watch that. And it gets those neutral to even below average temperatures all the way down to the Gulf coastline and the eastern seaboard. So it's a pretty potent shot, pretty strong, low pressure, potent shot of cold air. But we warm up again. And then taking this out to the end frame here, this matches up pretty much exactly. There's still plenty of warmer than average to be had across areas, but there's some sort of battleground in areas of the central and the northwest and the northeast, and then the kind of central U.S. Big smiley face right there. So I have to watch that for another pattern change that could bring even more dynamic weather as we get towards the middle of the month. So it's hard to tell. But if we do have something like this set up, you see these warmer than average temperatures residing down here in the southeast. If we do have lines of storms that make it through, those could support severe potential in this area. And that only matters to me because I live here. And to be completely honest with you, I love to chase some storms. That'd be really fun for me. So I'm going to show you a few different things now. This is our activity map. This is a different way of looking at it. If you tuned into yesterday evening's video, I showed the same map. This is just a different way of looking at it. So this is the European ensemble, and this is our total moisture, total QPF, that's quantitative precipitation. So whether this falls as snow or sleet, freezing rain, normal rain, hail, it's going to show up on this map right here. So you can see, pick probably the worst color for that. You can see there's a broad area from Texas all the way up into the northeast where we have quite a lot of moisture to work with. And this is a conservative number. I'm going to show you a model in a second that shows quite a bit more than this. But this is just areas where we could see a lot of activity. What this supports right here, low pressure, kind of forms and then rolls up here, and all the moisture that's brought up from the south has the potential to fall as rain. And I just think there even could be flooding concerns with this. Absolutely. So let me show you here. This is what I'm talking about when I say there's more. This is the national blend of models. That means it's an ensemble. And we still have a look that looks like this. That's impressive to me. But over the Arklatex specifically, 8 inches of rain over the next 260 hours. That's not even like, that's like 10 or 11 days. So that's a lot of precipitation. That would lead me to believe we have flooding concerns in areas of central southern plains and even in the Midwest. Just a lot of activity. Because we define activity. An active day of weather is defined by something falling from the sky in some form or another. If it's sunny outside, you don't call that an active day of weather. That's a nice day. So all that being said, there's quite a lot here. And I mean, other models will show more, other models less. Let's see here what we can get off the latest European. So the latest European through the run, pretty similar look. It's obviously a little bit more splotchy because it's a deterministic, just your average run. But I mean, there's still a lot of moisture to be had here. It kind of beefs up the Midwest even more. Now, how about the GFS model? This is insane. I don't even think necessarily, guys, that this is wrong. This is wild to me, though. We have over a foot of rain in some areas of the Arklatex fall. I mean, that's a lot of rain. Obviously, you might be thinking, looking at me, staring at me, and saying, "Well, duh, Captain Obvious, it's a lot of rain." I know it's just like ridiculous amounts of rain. What about the latest run? I mean, it kept it the same. There's a lot of activity. It might be a little bit hard for you guys to see states on this map, I know, but there's just a ton of activity from the southern plains all the way up into Canada. Just a lot of it. Even for areas further to the east and even south, there's just a lot of rain to be had, it looks like, over the next little bit of time. And I do want to speak for a second on snow. I don't think that our snow chances are over, especially considering we do seem to cool down as we get towards the middle of the month. But this is the European ensemble between now and the end of the run here. I don't know why it was set to that. I do want you guys to see in the central and northern plains here. Let's get our drawing tool right. There's definitely snow in this area. There's a signal for 2 to 3 inches of snow in some areas here. Obviously, areas of Canada, the Northeast, through the run, you're still expected to get 10 inches of snow based on the European ensemble, not by a professional, just the Euro ensemble. And I want to notice right in this area here, for example, the kind of central U.S., central plains over to the mid South. I mean, Kentucky, for example, the entire state has a 1 inch average based on the European ensemble. That's a little bit bizarre to me, but it's definitely, I don't think it's necessarily off its rockers. Now, I'm going to show you, this is the National Blended Models between now and the next 260 hours, so it's not the exact same time frame, but it looks pretty similar. So I do think that we still have potential for snow, just nothing too crazy. So all that being said, appreciate you guys tuning in this evening. I'm trying to change some things up in these videos, doing some experimenting and all that good stuff. So you might notice differences from video to video, just trying to get everything figured out before we kind of lock into a more long duration thing here. But thank you guys for watching. Share this video with friends and family and get this information out to people. Otherwise, I will see you guys tomorrow morning for our forecast discussion.